A woman with no friends or a small circle is one of the most secure women you'll ever meet. Trust me, she values quality over quantity and has built a life of peace by leaving behind fake friends, drama, and gossip. Her confidence comes from within, not from others' approval. She's perfectly content with her own company and doesn't need a crowd to feel complete. This type of woman has learned that true strength lies in her ability to stand alone. She's mastered the art of self-love, choosing to invest her time and energy into relationships that uplift her rather than drain her. Her small circle is built on trust and loyalty, and she won't waste time on relationships that don't matter. She surrounds herself only with people who bring positivity and growth into her life. Never underestimate a woman like this because she's already validated herself. She doesn't chase after attention or approval. She already knows her worth. Her boundaries are strong, her standards are high, and her energy is sacred. Those who are lucky enough to be in her life know they are there because they genuinely belong. A woman like this isn't afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't serve her peace. If you agree, hit follow. There comes a time in every woman's life when she realizes the most important relationship she will ever have is the one with herself. She recognizes that no external force, no validation, no approval from anyone else can ever replace the strength that comes from within. She is enough. She has always been enough. The world around her may be loud. It may demand more than she is willing to give. But in the quiet moments she finds herself, she learns that the peace she seeks does not lie in the crowds, in endless approvals, or in chasing after superficial connection. It is within her, deep inside, where true contentment resides. This woman knows the value of her own company. She has walked through storms, and while many turned away, she stood tall. She never asked for anyone's permission to rise, because she knew her worth. It was never dependent on the applause of others. The only approval she ever needed was her own. In her life, there are no rooms filled with people who do not truly see her. A gold of the runs of the challenge. No spaces where her energy is drained by empty conversations or false connections. She has learned the profound lesson that not everyone deserves access to her heart, her time, and her energy. She does not need to be liked by everyone, for she understands that the crowd does not define her. Born shouldless, she has learned to leave behind those who do not uplift her, those who only bring drama and chaos. She knows the true value of solitude. It is in these quiet moments that she reconnects with her own essence, her own strength, and her own vision. It is in solitude that she becomes the best version of herself. She does not chase attention. She does not seek to fill her life with people who are only there for the convenience of the moment. No, she seeks authenticity, loyalty, and deep connection. She has come to realize that fewer but more meaningful relationships are far more valuable than 1,000 empty connections. Italy Kyle. What? And, more importantly, she knows that this strength does not make her isolated or distant. It makes her powerful. It makes her self-sufficient. It makes her the woman who does not wait to be chosen but chooses herself, a woman who does not seek validation because she is already whole. The woman who understands her worth knows that true confidence does not come from being admired by the masses. It comes from a deep sense of self-respect. It comes from the peace that arises from knowing that she does not need to prove her value to anyone. She already knows who she is, and that is more than enough. The word reverti mild. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she learns the priceless value of boundaries. They are not walls meant to shut others out, but sacred lines that define find her space, her energy, and her worth. It is in this understanding that she discovers true freedom, the freedom to protect her peace, the freedom to prioritize herself, and the freedom to say no without guilt or fear. She does not apologize for her boundaries because she understands they are not barriers to others but shields for herself. They are the invisible lines that safeguard her heart, her mind, and her spirit from those who would seek to take from her without giving back. They are the markers that allow her to choose who she lets into her life and who she lets go without hesitation. Her boundaries are a reflection of her self-respect and self-love. They are not rigid or harsh, they are clear and firm. Because she knows that to honor herself, she must first honor the space around her. She must protect the energy she allows into her life and ensure that it is in alignment with her values, her goals, and her peace. She has learned that she does not need to explain herself to anyone. She does not need to justify her choices. She does not need to beg for respect or demand validation. Her boundaries speak for themselves, and those who respect them are the ones who truly deserve to be in her life. She no longer gives her time and energy to people or situations that drain her. She no longer allows herself to be stretched thin trying to please everyone. She knows that her time is her most valuable asset, and she chooses to invest it in the people and experiences that nourish her soul, that lift her up and allow her to grow. Direct for Karinen's Subman history. In setting her boundaries, she is not closing herself off to love or connection. She is simply making room for the right kind of love, the kind that is built on mutual respect, the kind that is rooted in trust, the kind that adds value to her life rather than taking from it. She does not allow anyone to cross her boundaries without consequence, because she knows that doing so is a betrayal to herself, and she will never again put the comfort of others above her own well-being. She does not tolerate disrespect. She does not entertain negativity. She does not allow her peace to be disturbed for the sake of anyone else. Kingold wait. All the into peace. Her boundaries are the foundation of her strength. They are the non-negotiable principles that guide her actions and interactions. They are the silent declaration that she will no longer accept less than she deserves. She is not afraid to walk away from relationships that do not align with her vision. For her life, she is not afraid to let go of things that no longer serve growth, because she knows that her peace is worth more than any temporary comfort. Her undergrow of the culture, and as she stands firm in her boundaries, she becomes more powerful, more confident, and more at peace. She knows that to be truly happy and fulfilled, she must honor herself first, and everything else will fall into place. A woman who knows her worth does not seek to fill her life with endless acquaintances and superficial connections, for she understands that true fulfillment comes not from the number of people around her, but from the depth of those relationships she cultivates. She chooses her circle with the same care and intention that she chooses her own thoughts, because she knows that who she surrounds herself with shapes her energy and her growth. She does not believe in spreading herself thin just to be liked. She does not need a crowd to feel complete or validated. She knows that it is far more powerful to have a small group of people who truly see her, support her, and challenge her to grow than to be surrounded by many who merely occupy space in her life without ever contributing to her well-being. Later is effectively served. Her circle is not determined by convenience or proximity. It is built on mutual respect, loyalty, and shared values. The people she keeps close are the ones who understand her worth, who uplift her when she falters, who celebrate her victories without jealousy, and who hold her accountable when she needs. They are the ones who bring light into her life without expectation or condition. are traits, or they bring less into her life description. She does not entertain relationships that are built on gossip, drama, or manipulation. She does not waste her time with those who only seek to drain her energy, or those who only show up when it benefits them. She knows that her time is too precious to be spent on people who do not contribute positively to her journey, not witches by Francis have. She also understands the value of solitude in building a strong circle. The time she spends alone is not a sign of loneliness, but of strength. It is in those quiet moments that she reconnects with herself, gains clarity on her desires, and recharges her spirit to be able to give fully to the people who truly matter to her. She does not fear being alone because she knows that the right people will find their way to her. When the time is right, she trusts that the universe will bring into her life those who are meant to walk beside her, on her journey of growth and fulfillment, and she does not rush or force connections, because she understands that the most meaningful relationships are built over time through shared experiences, trust, and mutual respect. And forced meaningful relationships in these levels produce a state of laziness. She has learned to distinguish between the people who truly deserve her energy and those who only want to take from her without giving in return. She has set boundaries with those who do not align with her values, and she has learned the strength to walk away when necessary without hesitation and or the blunt. Her circle may be small, but it is mighty. It is filled with people who bring positivity and growth into her life, who inspire her to reach higher and to become better, who challenge her to think bigger and to pursue her dreams with determination and purpose. She has learned that the quality of the relationships in her life matters far more than the quantity. In choosing connection over popularity, she has found her peace and her purpose. She no longer feels the need to prove herself or to seek validation from those who don't truly see her. She has become confident in the relationships she nurtures, and she knows that the right people will always find their way into her life when they are meant to be there. A woman who truly knows herself has mastered the art of standing alone with unwavering confidence, because she understands that her value doesn't come from the opinions of others, nor from the approval of the masses. It comes from a deep well of self-belief that she has built within herself over time, and with purpose. She knows her worth not because others tell her so, but because she has looked within and seen her own light. She doesn't need to seek validation. She doesn't need to be constantly reassured or applauded. She carries her confidence quietly and firmly within her. She walks into spaces with her head held high because she is grounded in the knowledge that she doesn't need anyone's approval. To be the person she was always meant to be, she has already validated herself. Her confidence is not rooted in arrogance, but in deep self-respect. She knows who she is, and she is not afraid to show up as her true self, no matter the opinions of those around her. She does not measure her success by the standards of others, but by her own growth, her own achievements, her own journey has fell a bit long to accepting of others. She has learned that the foundation of true confidence is built on the quiet moments of self-reflection when no one is watching, when she faces herself in the mirror and affirms her own value, when she chooses to speak her truth even in the face of opposition, when she steps forward into the unknown even when the world around her tells her to. Think of her confidence is the result of every challenge she has overcome, every time she chose to rise again. After falling, every time she made a decision that aligned with her values, even when it was difficult, every time she chose to trust herself instead of seeking reassurance from others, She has learned that true strength is not found in perfection, but in embracing her flaws and working through them with grace, which, Hydra, is the places to the motive of grace that is not found in perfection. She knows that the key to confidence is not in avoiding failure, but in accepting it as a part of the journey. She knows that every setback is simply a lesson that prepares her for the next step on her path, and that each lesson, no matter how painful, adds to the richness of her life and the depth of her confidence. Her confidence is rooted in her authenticity. She has no need to pretend to be someone she is not. She does not shrink to make others comfortable. She does not conform to societal pressures to fit a mold. She knows that her true power lies in being herself unapologetically and fully. She owns every part of her story, the successes, the failures, the highs and the lows. She does not fear standing alone because she has learned that sometimes standing alone is the most powerful thing she can do. She knows that when she stands on her own 2 feet, firmly grounded in her beliefs, she attracts the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances into her life. Carguage. Life, every phrase circumcised the right people of words. Her confidence doesn't need to be loud or brash. It doesn't need to be noticed by everyone. It simply exists in the quiet power she exudes in her calm presence, in the way she speaks, with certainty, in the way she carries herself, with grace and poise, in the way she sets her boundaries and demands respect, not through force, but through the unwavering strength of her character. The more boundary, and most importantly, she knows that confidence is not something that can be given to her by anyone else. It is something she creates within herself. And as she creates it, she becomes unstoppable, not because she is without fear, but because she is willing to face it and move forward anyway. A woman who knows her worth understands that not everything, and certainly not everyone, is meant to stay in her life. She has learned that walking away is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of strength. It is a declaration of her commitment to her peace, her happiness, and her well-being. She knows that the right people and the right opportunities will come into her life when she makes the conscious decision to let go of what no longer serves her. And she has faced the harsh truth that sometimes letting go is the most loving thing she can do for herself. She has learned to release what holds her back, to walk away from relationships that drain her, and from situations that compromise her values. She no longer fears loss, because she knows that what is meant for her will always find its way to her, and what isn't, she was never hers to keep. Letting go is not an act of giving up. It is an act of self-preservation. It is a conscious choice to protect her energy, to preserve her peace, and to make room for the growth and opportunities that are aligned with her true purpose. She does not hold on to what hurts her. She does not cling to what holds her down. She knows that sometimes the most powerful thing she can do is simply walk away. She lets go of toxic relationships that only bring drama and heartache. She lets go of the people who only show up when it's convenient but disappear when she needs them most. She lets go of the friendships that leave her feeling drained rather than uplifted. She understands that her time and energy are precious, and that she has the right to choose who she shares them with. She lets go of the past, the mistakes, the regrets, the things she cannot change. She refuses to be defined by what once was. She lets go of the guilt, the shame, the burdens that have weighed her down. She has come to understand that forgiveness is not about letting others off the hook. It's about freeing herself from the chains of resentment and moving forward with a light heart. She has learned that walking away is not about cutting people off in anger or bitterness. It is about releasing herself from the emotional weight of a situation that no longer brings her peace. She walks away with grace, with clarity, and with strength, knowing that by doing so, she is choosing herself over everything else. She is choosing her happiness, her mental health, and her future over the comfort of staying in the familiar. She knows that sometimes walking away is the most loving thing she can do, not just for herself, but for others too. Sometimes the best way to honor a relationship is to let it go when it no longer serves either party, when it becomes toxic, or when it prevents both people from growing. She does not stay out of obligation or fear, but out of a deep understanding that the greatest form of love is allowing each other the space to evolve. Summons smooth and Tumen tree, and when she walks away, she walks with her head held high. She does not look back, because she knows that every step forward is a step toward a better version of herself. She knows that she is not walking away from love or from connections, but toward peace, toward growth, and toward a life that aligns with her highest good. High commission, the empretendment of ru expective. So when you see a woman walk away, understand this. It is not a sign of defeat, but a sign of immense strength. It is not a sign of weakness, but of self-respect. It is not a sign of failure, but of clarity. She walks away, not because she has given up, but because she has chosen herself. Because she knows that sometimes the most powerful thing she can do is let go and trust that something better is waiting for her. There is no greater power than the power of returning to yourself. Not because you were lost, but because you have learned to find yourself again after all the distractions, the noise, the people who try to shape you into someone else. You have come home to who you truly are, and in that return, you find your strength, your peace, and your purpose. This is not a journey that is marked by perfection, but by resilience. It is a journey of becoming not someone else, but the fullest expression of who you always were, beneath the layers, beneath the expectations, beneath the stories you were told about who you should be. You are shedding all of that now and embracing the woman you were always destined to be. You have learned to trust yourself in ways you never did before. You have learned to listen to your intuition, to honor your feelings, and to walk in your own truth without fear of judgment or rejection. You have learned that the only approval you ever needed was your own, and once you gave yourself permission to be who you are, everything changed. The strength that comes from being whole is not the strength of never breaking, but of breaking and still rising, of falling and getting back up, of walking through fire and coming out stronger for it. You have learned that your power lies not in being invincible, but in your ability to stand up again after each fall. Your strength is in your resilience, and your resilience is what makes you unstoppable. You no longer seek validation from anyone because you have learned to validate yourself. You no longer wait for others to give you permission to shine, because you have already stepped into your own light. You have stopped looking for someone to complete you, because you now know that you are already whole. You have always been whole. You have created a life that is true to who you are, not based on what others think you should be, but based on the values and the vision you hold for yourself. You have built a life of peace, not because everything is perfect, but because you have learned to embrace the imperfection with grace. You have learned to let go of the need for constant approval or recognition, because you know that your worth does not depend on anyone else's opinion. You have mastered the art of self-love, not as a fleeting emotion, but as a constant practice. In every thought you think, in every action you take, in every decision you make, you choose to love yourself. You choose to honor yourself. You choose to value yourself above all else. And now you walk with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are, from knowing your worth, from knowing that you do not need anyone else to validate you, because you have already validated yourself. You walk with peace in your heart and clarity in your mind, because you know that your path is your own, and that you are worthy of everything you desire. The woman who has returned to herself does not fear the future because she knows that no matter what comes her way, she is capable of handling it. She has faced the storms and come out stronger. She has learned that no obstacle is too great and no challenge too hard because she has already overcome the greatest challenge of all, finding herself. You are not just surviving, you are thriving. You are not just existing, you are living. You are not just waiting for the world to change, you are changing the world around you because you have decided to step fully into your own power. You have decided that you are enough, and you are choosing to live each day in alignment with that truth. So, to every woman who has walked this journey, who has learned to let go of what doesn't, please serve her, who has set boundaries, who has chosen herself, who has become confident in her own skin, and who has learned to walk away when necessary. Remember, this your journey is far from over. It is just beginning, and you have everything you need within you to keep going. You are already whole, you have always been whole, and the world is waiting for you to show up as the fullest, most authentic version of yourself, as a woman who has embraced her power and her worth. They should be orally erased in substantive rule. You stand as a beacon not just for yourself, but for every woman who will come after you. Your journey of self-love, confidence, and strength is not just yours alone. That is a legacy that will echo through the generations. It is a testament to what is possible when a woman chooses herself, sets boundaries, walks away from what doesn't serve her, and becomes whole. You are not just living for today. You are living for the future, for the daughters, the nieces, the sisters, and the generations of women who will look up to you as an example of strength, independence, and self-respect. Your story is one of breaking chains, shattering limiting beliefs, and setting a new standard for what it means to be a woman in this world. By choosing to be whole, by choosing to validate yourself, by choosing to walk away from things that no longer serve you, you are sending a message that is loud and clear. We as women are worthy of peace, of love, of respect, and of living our truth. We are worthy of standing tall, even when it means standing alone. And we are worthy of choosing ourselves, first and foremost, because that is the foundation upon which everything else will be built. The legacy you create is not built on your accomplishments alone, but on your ability to inspire others to do the same. It is in the quiet moments when others see you choosing peace over chaos, love over fear, strength over submission. It is in the way you carry yourself with unwavering belief in your own worth. It is in the way you set boundaries and walk away from negativity, demonstrating to those around you that they too have the power to shape their lives by their own standards. Your strength will inspire others to find theirs. Your choices will empower others to make the same choices for themselves, and your peace will invite others to seek their own. You are the ripple that creates waves of change in the lives of those who are watching, learning, and being transformed by the example you set. Your legacy will be one of empowerment of women who no longer feel the need to seek external validation, but who instead find their validation from within. It will be the legacy of women who understand that their value is not defined by the opinions of others, but by the quiet, unwavering belief they have in themselves. It will be the legacy of women who walk away from what no longer serves them, who create lives filled with peace, purpose, and power. As you continue your journey, remember that the impact you make will reach far beyond your own life. The way you choose to live, the way you honor yourself, the way you teach others to do the same will shape not only your future, but the future of every woman who follows in your footsteps. This is the power of living authentically, living for your soul fan, of leaving behind a legacy that will empower generations to come. So stand tall, for you are not just living for today, you are living for every woman who will one day look to you as a shining example of what it means to choose yourself, to set boundaries, and to be unapologetically whole. Your legacy will be one of strength, one of peace, and one of unshakable self-respect. And that, my dear, is the most powerful legacy you could ever leave.